Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the videos of the paid requests for DavieVids. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Alone in the Dark, the 2005 film, directed by Uwe Boll, or as they call him, Uwe Boll, Uwe. Haven't heard from Uwe Boll for a while. I know it's Uwe, but I call him Uwe. Where has Uwe Boll gone? Where has Uwe? Where is he? Been a long while since I've heard that name. And sadly, there's been worse people like Neil Breen and other people that took your spot, man. Because I don't think he's a good director. There's been two films of his that I thought were okay. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I forgot the name of the movies. Cannot believe it. Rampage? I think that was one. And like the first one I saw, I remember not minding it for what it was. And then there's another one. See, I forgot. That's how much I remembered. I forgot. But for one or two of those, there's Far Cry, House of the Dead, this movie, In the Name of the King, In the Name of the King 2 with Dolph Lundgren, Postal. They're just absolute garbage movies in my opinion. Garbage. Now, this movie, sadly, it's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a bad movie. It's an awful movie. It's a dumb movie. There's a lot of issues with it. I'll get to them. It is a bad movie. Is it Uwe's worst movie? No. I would say Postal is way worse. I would say Far Cry is worse. I might even say House of the Dead I thought was worse. And then the Teen 1 and 2, Blood Rain, I would say those are worse. At least to me. Is it one of the worst movies of all time? Honestly, I don't think this would make my top 100 worst movies. Because I've seen bad. And this is bad. But this is more bad in a... If you saw this on Sci-Fi Channel, it would be like, oh, it's a Sci-Fi Channel movie. I mean, this is not worse than the typical Sci-Fi Channel Croc versus Gatorade or Mechaloid versus Nickel and Diamond, whatever the hell they're called. Mega Piranha versus Super Croc. Three-Headed Shark Attack in Miami Beach. What the hell the names are for them. And if you're like me and you've seen films like Things from 1989, Feeders, Feeders 2, Tina Mavar, The Wet Ones, which is like a 2.5 hour movie of someone playing with dolls, August Underground Boredom, a Serbian film. This is like a piece of cake thing to watch compared to those movies. Date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, going overboard with Adam Sandler. Even like big budget films are just more get me more angry. Like you say, The Last Jedi is technically better made, but it gets me more angry. Alien 3 gets me more angry. Terminator Genesis and Dark Fate, they get me more angry than this film. So I didn't grow up with Alone in the Dark, the video games. I've seen people play them. The original 2. I've seen someone play a bit of the newer one with David Harbour in it. But I didn't play the game, so I have no nostalgia, no frame of reference. I'm sure if you're a fan of the game, you'd be more pissed about this. Understandably so. Just the little bits I remember of those games, this has nothing to do with those games at all. Christian Slater stars in it, as well as Tara Reid, Stephen Dorff. I like Christian Slater. I like Stephen Dorff. Tara Reid, not so much. She sucks. But it's like a bad fairly mediocre film, more like it. The sometimes I laugh at. Oh, of course, after I forget, all the Neil Breen films I've seen, way worse than this. So, it is a film that sucks, though. Lot of dicks. Because you start out with a 90-second text, and 90 seconds may not sound long, but stay still. Like, literally get a stopwatch. Stay still for 90 seconds, and you'll see it's a lot longer than you think. You have this text that has more text than all the Star Wars combined. And their opening crawls, those are all shorter combined compared to this. Apparently this was added after the fact because people were confused what was going on. So let's have all this text about this Native American tribe and Bureau 713, this paranormal research group, and creatures and all this other stuff. A ton of exposition. And then you get into the story where this scientist, this professor, wants to merge man with creature, and this orphanage. The nun is like, I'm not sure if you want to use, I don't really give you permission to use these kids. Then ultimately she does. I don't know why she does. Was she paid? Was she threatened? You didn't see either of them. So why did she agree to it? I don't know. But then they have like, it's supposed to be 20 kids, but they have 19, one's missing. So one kid ran off. He hid. I don't know how the hell he got in here, because it's like a fence that looked padded, locked up, and it looked like there was barbed wire or something, but somehow he got in. Maybe it's osmosis. Maybe he farted his way in there. And he's right by these big electrical zzz, hiding there from a monster. And then he wakes up and it's Christian Slater. Which is weird because he escaped, and then you find out that when the kid came back, all the kids were back. But then we find out later that Christian Slater, along with these other 19, were creatures were put into them. But how was the creature put into you if you escaped? If they took the 19 kids, put the thing in them, and then put them back, okay. But that shouldn't have happened to you. If you go, well, this isn't the first time they've done it, but they make it seem like the nun is doing this for the first time. Then they show the first time they're doing it, and the first time they're doing it, one of the kids are missing, and this kid ran away and hid, and then was found out, and... Or did they somehow take him off screen that we never got to see, we never got to visualize? Like, when was this kid taken, and when was this thing put into him? The one time we see it, he escaped. And again, if this was an ongoing thing, I don't think they made that clear. Again, with the nun talking, going, oh, well, I don't know if you should do this. Okay, fine, do this. So, like I said, it's still a shitty movie. I think Christian Slater, I liked Slater. I liked him in Gleam in the Cube. I liked him in Broken Arrow. He just going through the motions here. Very bland performance. I think he probably got a good paycheck, because I think Uwe Boll, he would throw pay. That's how he got, was it Burt Reynolds and other people, and In the Name of the King is Uwe. I don't know, had a bunch of gold or something. I don't know. He had like, he was able to get these budgets. He was able to pay people. Was some kind of German, I don't know, gold thing, tax thing, whatever the kid, secret society thing. How the hell he funded his budgets for these movies? Which I don't know why the video game company would go to him, because he would say, oh, the video game company went to me after watching House of the Dead. If anybody watched House of the Dead, why would anyone come to you to make a movie? So, if that's true, I would blame the video game company. I would go, what the hell were you smoking? I think Christian Slater's character is being a dick because there's this kid going, "Oh, my mom's told me there's no monsters in the dark," and Slater pretty much goes, "Your mom's wrong. You need to be afraid of the dark, kid. You dork. You pussy." So he steers the kid to death. And then narration, "Yeah, I know I steered the kid, but he needs to know. So I'm going to be a dick." So he gets in this car, taxi, and I recognize the driver. He would actually be the guy that would star in those Rampage movies directed by Uwe Boll. I forget the actor's name. And immediately, Slater knows someone's following them. And then the taxi driver is just, "Yeah, sure. I'll get in a car chase with you." I mean, no twist of the arm. No, no, I don't want to. No, he's just, I don't know. Maybe this guy's bored. Maybe he's got a death wish. Maybe it's a death curse. He just goes on and, "Yeah, I'm going to do this car, this car chase with you. Why not? I'm bored." And then you get in this car chase, and the driver almost gets killed because Slater gets out of the way, and the adversaries hits the taxi, and the guy gets out. Taxi driver gets out bloodied. I'm like, it's your fault, dude. You're the one that agreed to a car chase. What do you expect? So then this bad guy's chasing Christian Slater, and trying to do this crazy wire work stunt scenes because Slater has his artifact that the guy wants. And I mean, this is 2005, but it felt as if the script was written right after The Matrix, or at least the Matrix sequels came out. Like, yeah, the Matrix sequels came out 2003. So if this was written maybe 2004, or, well, I say written, apparently the writer of the film was pissed off at what Uwe Boll did, because he wrote like more of a horror film, and then they changed it to this action stuff. So whoever rewrote it, Uwe Boll said, "Hey, the Matrix sequels came out. Put some bullet time in there. Put some gravity-defying kicks. Like Slater kicks a guy through a window." Or there's a bit where Slater's character is on the ground and somehow does this flip kick from the ground. That was absolutely, totally, without a doubt, Christian Slater doing it. I didn't fly on the ground and just does this kick flip because the guy has a gun. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Or does this bullet time shoots and slow-mo the bullet goes in, and I'm like, okay. Sadly, this scene is more entertaining than all those films I mentioned being worse than this. And they're in this kind of ice place, but maybe this is how it works. They're outside and there's blocks of ice. How does that ice not melt? Maybe people do this in reality, and apologize for being wrong on that if that's the case. But I'm sitting there going, wouldn't ice you want to do like in a freezer? Like this ice, even if people work in there fine and dandy, wouldn't it start melting? Like you bring it out and it start damn melting and shit? I don't know, just saying. Maybe not, I don't know. So Slater flips the guy and the guy gets impaled. And so he goes to see his girlfriend, who's the assistant curator of this museum, and it's Tara Reid. And everybody has said it. Tara Reid, you don't buy as anything of smart, intelligent. She just. I'm sorry to the actress, but no one buys it. No one buys that you could say this dialogue fluently, correctly, worth a shitty. It just doesn't work. If she's a scientist or she's a curator, I'm an astronaut. So it doesn't work. I mean, she doesn't say Newfoundland right. She says Newfoundland. Now I get it. We all make mistakes. I've said words wrong, but if you're doing a movie, anybody go, oh, by the way, hey, Uwe? Yeah, Uwe? That's not how you say it. It's Newfoundland, not Newfoundland. Can you, like, have her say it right? She's supposed to be this studied, scholar, intelligent person. People don't laugh at that. Like, nobody told her, nobody stopped, nobody double checked on it. You have her say the line like that, or she says the line and no one corrects her, so now you make her look like more of a fool. Like a lot of people, they just make them look like fools. And Uwe Boll did that a lot with some recognizable people. Now, granted, they took the paycheck, but... And then you look at Blood Rain, and the name of the teen, you're sitting there going, how the hell did they get this cast of people? While this is all happening, and he shows the artifact to Tara Reid, these random people, which you find out are the people from the orphanage years ago, they wake up and they're controlled and they walk out. Now, granted, we barely know who these people are, so it's like, why should we care? But they're doing it anyway. And then we have Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff works for the paranormal military group Bureau 713. Another guy I recognize. He doesn't have many lines. There's a scene where Stephen Dorff is looking at a computer screen and there's two tech people. One's a woman and one's a guy. The guy I recognize is John Fallon. Now, for those who don't know, he created this website called Arrow in the Head. This is probably one of the first guys I saw written reviews online. From way, way, way back in the day. This is like 2003, 2004, like the early stages, before YouTube, before all that. He'd be the guy I would read reviews for. And like everything, you don't always agree with him 100%, but his reviews were very entertaining, they were very funny, and hey, he's a fan of Hard Target and Cobra. I'm a big Hard Target and Cobra fan. Pretty cool in my book. So I know I really like The Punisher with Dolph as well as Thomas Jane. And he did not like Split Second. I disagree with that. But on a side note, it's funny. I messaged him on Facebook the other day. And he was nice. He responded back. And I was like, hey, what happened to those old reviews? He's like, yeah. I don't think he's part of the website anymore. And he's like, yeah, they took those reviews down because they were on PC. I'm like, oh my god, that's so much bullshit. He said, well, I may come out with a book with them. I'm like, I hope he... Hey, I'd pick it up. I'd gladly pick it up, man, if you ever do. And then it's like, I asked him about this movie. He's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of stories on this movie, man. Interesting experience, but yeah, it's a really bad movie. So he seems like a very cool guy, John Fallon. Very funny guy. But it's one of those things where... What the fuck does this have to do with the game? Like, if you look at... Again, I didn't even play the games. I've seen people play them, but you look at it, it's like, what the fuck does this have to do with the games? Like, the games is like, you're in a house, you're in a mansion, a precursor to Resident Evil. There's traps and there's creatures abound in this mansion. The time period took place in completely different. Nothing about that is in the movie. Same with, I guess maybe they were going to make a video game in connection with this, but then maybe they said, no, this movie ain't working out, just completely change the video game. And I guess maybe that was the one that came out in 2008, maybe? Which I never played that one. But yeah, it's like, what the hell does this have to do with the game? And anyway. So apparently, there's in the museum, there's this invisible creature that you wonder where the hell did this creature come from. I guess there's this one thing where this guy, the professor, who's the bad guy, has this container they bring up that's gold. And then the guy brings up, like, oh, gold encases them, gold traps them. But then that information never fucking comes up again, so it means nothing for later on. They let it out. Now, does this creature self-replicate? Just to a point where later on there's like a ton of these creatures. I'm like, well, where did all of these creatures come from? Okay, this is one creature, but does it have sex with itself and create more creatures? And I don't know, man. Sunlight is lethal. There's these bullets that you just shoot lights into them, Christmas lights, whatever the fuck. Depending which version you see, there's a sex scene between Reid and Slater. Apparently, some versions of the film they cut that out, which I guess is fine because there was an awkward sex scene. And this is where we find out that, oh yeah, Slater has one of these creatures in him, but he was electrocuted when he was a kid. We don't see any of this. We don't know how he got infected because, like I said, he escaped. If this is an ongoing thing, I don't think they made that really that clear. Whatever the fuck, man. One that leads to another. They're in the museum. If I want to see a monster in a museum, I'll go watch The Relic. Much, much better than this movie. With Peter Hyams, underrated director. Love End of Days, love Stay Tuned, 2010. Underrated director, Time Cop. But I know I keep pausing because I'm trying to remember the fucking movie. Yeah, there's this big action sequence where now, well, there's infected people, so now it's going to be like a part zombie film, and I'm guessing those are the other 19 people. But I felt like there's a lot more than 19 zombies they were fighting. And you get some gore, some people get their throats ripped out, but then, they shoot. I felt like there was more than 19 fucking zombies in there. If there's more, where did the others come from? Or are we made to believe there was more than just those 19 orphans? I don't know, man. And then why are there like 10 creatures? And then there's this one bit where the scene people remember the most is everything's dark and you see muzzle flashes and everything in CGI and there's a song. It sounds like Rob Zombie. I don't know what the song is, but it sounds like Rob Zombie is playing. And they're shooting, and then, like, a guy gets attacked and thrown off, but I swear then you see that guy again. Because there's, like, a black guy that's like, and then the creature comes, and you see a guy fly off like he's doing a backflip. And then 2 or 3 things happen. Then I see the same guy with the same stare face. I'm like, I thought you died already, dude. And like one guy is shooting, but it looks like he's shooting a pillar. And then at one point there's a shot where there's bullets coming here and bullets coming here. I'm like, what the fuck's happening? You're shooting each other. Why are there bullets here and bullets here and bullets here and bullets there? And everything's CG and it's so awful looking. It's goofy and it's kind of funny. I will admit. And I actually like the song. But I'm like, what the fuck's going on? There were times I'm like, what's happening? And then again, it becomes like a bit of a zombie film. The professor had just injected blood in him, so now if you inject the blood of the creature, you can now control the creatures. Well, I mean, wouldn't technically Christian Slater control him as well because the creature's in him? So that means, I guess not part of his blood, but whatever. By the way, the fact that the creature's in him, but it electrocuted and it's dead, you think that'll come into effect that this creature is dead, but it's inside him? Like maybe like it got electrocuted, but then it wakes up later, but then like gives Slater, I don't know, powers or something. I guess other than he gets a sense of once in a blue moon when the script wants him to. I think pretty much Stephen Dorff And Christian Slater, Tara Reid, and a few others, they gotta go to this mine. There's these EMP flashes that are now occurring there. While they're doing that, Stephen Dorff's men are on the surface. And again, where did these other 30, 40 creatures come from? I don't know. You saw one crypt come up that maybe would have one creature. Did he clone them? Did he kidnap other people and infect them and turn them that I don't know about? That maybe they said in the movie, and I apologize if they did, or they fucked up. But those creatures pretty much kill all the soldiers. So you would think, okay, now those creatures are still running amok. So when you get to the end of the film, I'm like, aren't those creatures still running amok? That killed all the soldiers? But anyway, while that's happening, they're killing all the soldiers. Christian Slater and Tara Reid and Stephen Dorff and some crew go into the mines. This one lady gets her leg hurt and an eel comes up. Now they're staring at it. They could shoot the fucking thing. They don't. They just stand there with a thumb up their ass and a grin on their face going, duh. And then kills the fucking thing. Kills the lady. Or I guess they didn't kill her because as they're leaving, her head is like here. Right? Her head's... Imagine this is a screen. Her head's here. She lifts her head up. Like right before it cuts. She lifts her head up. So if you ever see this film again, and you see that soldier dead from the eel, which looked like a bitter leg, so I don't know how it killed her, but before the scene ends, she lifts her head up. I'm like, 30 seconds before you could have edited it. And the stuff I'm talking about, I get why people say it's one of the worst films ever. I do get it. It is a bad movie. It's just, sadly, I've seen a lot fucking worse because of the shit I've seen. That turn you white. Whiter than this shirt. So it ends with just the three of them. Stephen Dorff, who does the best he can with what he's given. He's not given a whole lot of stuff to work with, but I like Stephen Dorff. I liked him in The Gate. I liked him in Blade. He's doing what he can with what he's got. Slater is... Like I said, I liked him in Gleam in the Cube and Broken Arrow, but he can't... It didn't... Not much to work with. They find this place. The evil professor's there. This key opens up a door to another dimension. And it's like, we need to close the door. I'm like, okay, that's all well and good, but what about all the monsters up above that killed all the men? Aren't they still running around? But they don't mention that. It's like they forget about that. Also, like, they shoot the professor. The Stephen Dorff goes, go. I'm going to close the door. He only gives himself 5 seconds. I don't know why. Why don't you give yourself 15 seconds? 20 seconds. Give yourself 5 seconds. He jumps. There's a big explosion. Slater and Tara Reid. Conveniently, it leads to the orphanage. Now it's daylight. I'm sitting there going, if the creatures followed you guys, could they have been killed by daylight? Wouldn't this been actually the best way to do it? Let them follow us. They don't go in the daylight. They're all dead. I guess not. And also, Stephen Dorff's character's alive. I do know that the first time I saw this film, it did not have the scene in it. But just depending which version of the film you see Stephen Dorff's alive. You see that, I don't know how he's alive. Again, he maybe teleported or something. But you see he's like in the rubble and he... Whew. So he's alive for the sequel that was made but had none of them actors in it. and didn't really follow the story of this. Not really. Continuation wise, didn't seem. So yeah, Stephen Dorff's character does live, which he's not given much to do, but he was the only guy I liked in the movie. And you think, well, again, if the sun's up, couldn't you get the creatures there and bring them over here, and you could kill them all? Maybe not. So Slater and Tara Reid goes to the city, and text says the city was evacuated. Who evacuated the city, and how the hell do you get a city evacuated in, what, a couple hours? You can't get a whole damn city evacuated in a couple hours. Bullshit. And then some of these cars are just on the side. I'm like, why didn't they drive off in these cars? You see that there's open roads and shit. Why didn't they drive? Whatever. But then Slater narrates about how this Native American tribe vanished and they were wiped off. And it's happened all over again. I'm like, but wait a minute. It said the city was evacuated. Now Slater's narrating that they vanished. Was it evacuated, or did the people vanish? Were they wiped off? Wiped off the planet? Did they vanish, or were they wiped out? Which was it? You have text saying they're evacuated. Your narration saying they're wiped off. Which the fuck is it, dude? And then the creatures are coming, like it's Evil Dead. But it's sunlight. They be dead. Wouldn't they be dead? Because the sunlight is lethal to them? So why are they coming out in the daylight? I like the song at the end, I will admit. I wish I had an angel, but da 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 da. I know a lot of people don't like the song, I don't blame you, but I like that song. So it's a trash movie. It's a terrible film. It's somewhat enjoyable. Well, okay, it's not enjoyable. It's just... It's sad that I've seen so many damn worse films. I watching this Uwe Boll film is like quaint. But it's still really fucking bad. None of it makes sense. Action scenes are poorly done. With some bad CGI. Lifeless performances. Dull characters. Action scenes are at times confusing. Technical mistakes like dead people still moving. Contradictory plot points. Evacuated, but they're wiped out. Inane decisions like a minute and a half text at the beginning of your movie. It's an easy punching bag, and it deserves to be. Again, it's an awful, terrible movie, and sadly, I've seen worse. But yeah, Alone in the Dark. I mean, it would have been cool. Christian Slater and Stephen Dorff in an R-rated monster movie. Uwe Boll screws it up, though. Take that for what you will. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later, man. Jesus Christ. Later.